Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios. For today's LEGO Star Wars news segment, we have the official set images of the highly anticipated 75402 ARC-170 Starfighter. I will be giving you guys my thoughts and all of the details on this set and why this set is unfortunately a really bad indicator for the hopes of more really great sets based off of Episode 3 for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith in 2025. Let's get into this news segment. Alright, diving right on into these images here, I think the box art looks fantastic. You have the large ARC-170 on the front with Cato Nemoidia in the background, and then Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter is shown there as well, indicating that this is kind of cheekily an Order 66 set a little bit, and I think this is LEGO hinting at the upcoming Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter set as well, just to give a little bit of a teaser and kind of make the two sets link a little bit more. However, the new rumor is that the Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter isn't a play-scale set, but rather a microfighter, which is really lame in my opinion if that is actually going to be true. Very disappointing if so that we're not getting just a regular version of Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter. I don't like microfighters. I think they're just a waste of a line and you really get minifigs out of them and that's it. So very disappointing if true, but of course today we are really focused on the ARC-170 Starfighter. Now the build itself I think looks pretty solid. For a modern take on the ARC-170, it's been well over a decade since we've gotten an ARC-170. I think it looks pretty solid overall. However, when I first saw these images, there was definitely something that I couldn't quite put my finger on in terms of the ARC-170 build looking a little weird to me, and I definitely think it has to do with the proportions of the build. Now, these are the official set images. LEGO always does a pretty good job of actually indicating what the set is going to look like in hand in these images, and based off of what we can see, the box art on the front I think makes it look a lot better than kind of the main render of the set does, because the main render, the nose looks rather short to me. It looks very disproportionate to the rest of the build in terms of what the ARC-170 Starfighter is actually supposed to look like. It could just be the angle that LEGO chose, but more often than not these angles are fairly accurate in what the build is actually going to look like. On the front of the box, it looks rather proportionate, but in this main angle, it looks really stubby and really short and kind of a failure to make the ARC-170 look like it's actually supposed to. The same kind of goes for the wings a little bit too. I feel like they aren't quite long enough compared to the other builds we have had. The ARC-170 just felt like a very large starfighter. It had three, clone pilots inside of it with the astromech droid. It was a very large, powerful starfighter, and this just looks, I don't know, a little nerfed almost in my opinion, the way the actual build kind of looks, between the bit of a stubby nose and then the wings being a little too small as well. Now, one thing you can see here in terms of the wings design is how on the ends of each wing you have the two-barrel laser cannon system. The bottom barrel is brick built, but the top one, instead of it being brick built like the other two ARC-170 builds, is using a spring-loaded shooter to get that across. So for a play feature, it's nice to have that in there and it's accurately placed where you would expect it to be. However, you can tell that that spring-loaded shooter is going to stick out of the back of the wing quite a bit. Not looking that good for display, which is something as an adult fan of LEGO I mainly care about, so that's unfortunately a bit of a knock on the set's design as well. That's just not going to look the best. And speaking of the wings as well, what is really interesting is the new system for LEGO to actually have the S-foils of the wings open and close up. You have what looks to be a brick-built system where you just push it from one side to the other to actually open and close the wings, whereas on the original versions, you had a little Technic system that you spun on the very back, right underneath that rear laser cannon, and that would open and close the wings. So this looks like obviously a completely new system, which is just going to be really interesting, and I hope it works a lot better than the old ones did. With the rubber bands, they didn't really last that long, in my opinion. They did kind of wear down, especially if you're playing with the set a lot. I remember when I was a kid, I had the original ARC-170 Starfighter, and that wing system definitely started to fail and not be as smooth and as good over time, because that was a set I played with a lot when I was a kid. So hopefully a bit more of a sturdy system that'll work just a little bit better. As for the rest of the details on the ARC-170, we have a lot of stickers giving you some details, and even the coloring of the top-mounted S-foils is done by a sticker rather than brick-built, like the previous two versions. That looks a little wonky as well to me, but overall I think the stickers look great and add in some good detail. Definitely not the kind of poor stickers that were on the sides of the cockpit showing what was a window looking into the ARC-170 on the last version we got. I really did not like that sticker, so definitely I think an improvement in terms of the stickers and the actual designs of the ARC-170. The windshield pieces, to me, those look like those are going to be stickers. You can kind of see in this one shot here the outlines of the sticker on the actual windshield piece. I just would have really preferred those to have been printed, especially for $70. I think that would have helped in some value being added to the set and making it feel a little bit more worth the money. But the fact that those are also what appear to be stickers, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of that, if I'm being honest. That's going to be something you have to be really careful with, and you pretty much get one shot to place it on there and to make it look good. I was actually just looking at my Ghost and Phantom 2 set that I have displayed beside me, and it's the exact same windshield piece, and I assume the exact same system for the sticker going across of it. So if you've gotten the Ghost and Phantom 2 set, this is exactly the same thing you're going to be doing here for all 3 windshield pieces. So it's going to look really great, I think, but the actual system of placing the sticker on it when they should be printed, I'm just not that big of a fan of personally. The rest of the details do look really good. But what I think is really the highlight of this set is the minifigs. The minifigs look absolutely incredible. We get 3 Clone Trooper pilots and then an astromech droid. We have Oddball and Jag, so 2 named clone pilots, and then just a regular clone pilot as well. And then R4P44, which I have beside me here, we get just an updated version of R4P44. And I wonder if he's going to come with back printing, and knowing kind of what LEGO is doing for astromech droids, I really doubt. And I can't really tell from any of these images if he's actually getting back printing. It looks like they don't show the back of R4P44, perhaps on purpose, but I'd probably assume there is no back printing for him. Seems like LEGO just really does it for R2, I think is the only one that really gets back printing. Correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong, but I would just love for astromech droids in general to get back printing, but I'm just not expecting it when it comes to R4P44. But having said that, I think the Clone Trooper pilots look stellar. The helmets look amazing. The printing looks super good. These, I think, are probably the best Clone Troopers we have gotten within the past 2 years at least. Overall, I think the minifig selection is pretty great. The one thing that I can see being a bit of a negative in terms of the actual selection we have is that getting named clone troopers in a set like this just makes it a little bit harder to army build. Like, you're not really going to want multiple oddballs or jags. You just would rather have gotten some more clone pilots. So I can see pros and cons for both. Getting both oddball and jag is awesome, but at the same time, maybe only getting one of them and then just 2 clone trooper pilots, just regulars, might have been a little bit better in the context of buying multiples of the set. But overall, I'm pretty happy regardless, and I'm just very excited to see the set in hand and take a closer look at the minifigs too. The last detail I should mention is that the set comes with 497 pieces. Oh, and now actually we can get on to kind of something I mentioned earlier, the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. One thing these images do is highlight that LEGO doesn't seem to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. You have the Clone Trooper box art, kind of for the Clone Wars on there, which, you know, is a little bit interesting that they went with that on an Episode 3 set, but whatever, you know, we can all live with that. The main detail here is that there is no logo, no nothing that indicates the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, which I think is pretty unfortunate. LEGO has celebrated, what, the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. They did the 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars just very recently as well. So not doing the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith just makes it seem like, to me, that LEGO is a little bit out of touch with their fan base, which is something I don't think is that big of a surprise for me to say. But the whole fan base, the whole LEGO Star Wars community has really been wanting sets for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. It's something we've been wanting. I get that the 25th anniversary, like they did for the Phantom Menace, is the big one, the Silver Jubilee anniversary. But still, they've done the 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars. Why not do something for Revenge of the Sith? It's what the fan base wants. It's just really disappointing to see that there is no logo or nothing, no even just hint of, hey, you know, we are going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith and make a few Episode 3 sets, but the fact that this box doesn't show it at all is pretty concerning for the rest of the year of 2025 in terms of the hopes of getting a lot of Episode 3 sets. I don't think we are going to, just based on this box here. And if any set would have the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith logo on it or anything, it would be this set. So that is where we are kind of at in terms of LEGO Star Wars 2025 sets. They are not celebrating the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, which is hugely disappointing and just something that they should be aware of that the fan base really wanted. We want some amazing Episode 3 sets. We are excited about Revenge of the Sith. It's, for a lot of us, it's the kind of, the big Star Wars movie that so many of us now grew up with watching. I remember watching it in the theaters. We want to celebrate it. We want some really great sets based on Episode 3, and LEGO just clearly isn't really doing that. Combine that with the fact that the Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter, which was rumored to be a playset, is now apparently going to be a microfighter. 2025 is not looking quite as good as a lot of us hoped it would be, and it just kind of goes to show that LEGO still really either is ignoring the fan base, in my opinion, or just unaware and really daft in terms of, giving the fan base what they want. They're just, somehow, they just don't know what we are all wanting and think, oh yeah, let's give a Captain Rex's Y-Wing, which all of us have been asking for a playscale version of. We'll give you that, but we'll give it to you in a microfighter, which no one cares about, let's be honest. Same thing with Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter. Everyone wants an update on the set. It'd be a great Episode 3 set to go along with an ARC-170, but we're going to give it to you in a microfighter instead. It's like, okay, great. Who cares, right? Like, it's just a letdown. So it's kind of weird to me that LEGO seems to know what sets people want in terms of the concept, like Captain Rex's Y-Wing, like a Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter, but they're giving it to us in actual set kind of sub-themes, microfighters that no one cares about, and not giving us sets that the fan base really wants. And just in terms of the overall design language as well, a little bit, like a downsized ARC-170. No one wanted that, especially for $70. So I don't know. I hate being negative, and especially, like this, and thinking ahead of the year, but I'm just kind of mentally preparing myself and maybe you guys a little bit to think that 2025 LEGO might not be turning things around like a lot of us were hoping for, at least as much as we kind of had hoped. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys for today's LEGO Star Wars news segment. As always, let me know your thoughts on the ARC-170 set in the comments down below. Is it going to be a day one buy for you? It is for me, and I'm going to try and get it early so I can review it on the channel. And if you enjoy these LEGO Star Wars news segments, it's kind of a new thing I'm doing on the channel, let me know in the comments down below and I will keep making them. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please do, as that is the best way to support my LEGO Star Wars videos. And if you want to check out my vlogs and kind of behind the scenes footage, check out my second channel, OB2 Studios, which will be linked in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next LEGO Star Wars news segment.